Listen, today is day 1429 of What You Up To Now, documenting the journey and sharing my experience over the last almost 5 decades. I hate to say 5 decades. It's been 48 years that I've been involved in businesses in a lot of different industries, 27 different offline industries, and over a quarter century of that simultaneously in corporate America, as well as 2017, I started to learn about the online world and jump into doing things online. And my original intent with this was to just document my journey as I transitioned from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. And it's sort of morphed to just being a daily journal of what I'm doing. I have major vision challenges. I'm actually legally blind, and so I used to journal everything and write everything down and document it. And that started to become hard in 2017, 2018 was a tough time. And by 2019, I'd lost the vision in my left eye back in the 1980s, right? The 1980s. And my right eye, following my sudden cardiac arrest in 2010, in 2011 started to take the same journey. So I had eye surgery, and that helped for a while. But over time, my right eye started to deteriorate like my left eye did. And so life is fuzzy and cloudy and bright for me. It's white cloudy. So I have to compensate for that, just like all of us have things we need to compensate for in our life. Maybe it's a belief that we have, or it's an experience that we have that's impacted us, but we all have to figure out what works for us. So today we were talking about in our annual challenge, I actually skipped one because of my vision challenges, which is maybe why I'm talking about them today. There's, in this little journal book that we use for the annual challenge this year, Do One Thing Every Day That Centers You, there are several of these color me pages. And I used to love to color when I was younger. I loved art, loved coloring, loved drawing. And sometimes I'll still draw with my granddaughters because it's fun, and it's fun to do the colors. And even if I go outside, I don't color and just draw, and it looks funny because my vision's funny, it doesn't matter. But when I get something like this, nowadays, it's like teeny tiny. I don't even know how to describe how tiny it is because I can't see it, but it's super duper teeny tiny shapes and curvy lines and things. I'm not going to try to color this. It would frustrate me to no end. So instead of making me feel good, it says coloring transports me. It would transport me to the La La Land because it would frustrate me so much. So I'm not going to do it. So since I have enough pages to finish the year out, I skipped today. This is the cool thing about leading something. You can choose, and we need to remind ourselves of that anytime. We can choose whether we're going to do something or not, participate in something or not. So I just switched to the next one, which was the same day about kindness, which is more in line with how I want to feel centered anyway, because thinking of kindness makes me feel more centered than trying to color little teeny tiny spaces. So today's was the highest form of wisdom is kindness, and we're sharing how we are kind and wise today, and I think that is appropriate and perfect for the final Tuesday of the year. So it is the final week of 2021. It's been a good year. It hasn't been like the best year ever. You know how every year there's coaches and gurus out there telling you, make 2021 your best year ever. Make 2022 your best year ever. Guess what? Every year that you're alive is the best ever because you're alive and you get to experience it, right? Just for the sake of being alive, it's the best year ever. But I wouldn't say that 2021 or 2020 for sure. I had such high, great hopes for 2020. To me, 2020 was the year of vision, and it was just going to be the bust out, standout year for so many people in so many industries. And in some ways it was, but not how we had entered 2020 expecting it to be, right? I think it's done. The COVID pandemic, is as horrible as it has been, has created industries, and it's advanced certain industries much more quickly than they would have ever been adopted naturally. So, I don't think that all the negatives balance out or outweigh the positives, but there have been positives. Just with any change or challenge that we face, there's always positives and negatives, and we get to decide which we're going to focus on. I learned a long time ago to decide to focus on what's working so I can create more of it, not on what isn't working, because then I create more of that. If I focus on the negative or what's frustrating me, like coloring teeny things, it could absolutely ruin my experience or ruin my day. Not going to let that happen, so I choose not to participate in it. So our idiom for Supersize Your Business today, we are doing end of the year idioms for this last week of the year. After Christmas Day, I decided, all right, well, I don't want to talk about the holidays or Christmas or cold weather anymore, although we're having a cold snap now here. So I researched and I found that there's at least, a dozen, or I think I found 8 or so, ending idioms. So we're talking about an idiom that has something to do or has the word end in it till the end of the year. And today's was keep up your end of the bargain, which is a great topic, and I love this topic because it's all about doing what you say you're going to do. If you make a promise, if you make a commitment, you follow through and do it. Now, choose wisely. Don't commit and overcommit to things that you aren't really capable of doing, because that disappoints you and you let yourself down, but you also let other people down that are counting on you, and it makes you seem not trustworthy or consistent or dependable. And how many people like people that aren't trustworthy, consistent, or dependable, or do what they say they're going to do, or make a promise and then go back on that promise? I don't ever want to be that person. So even if it's hard, if I commit to doing something, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it. And that's just a part of keeping your end of the bargain. I like this idiom. I like this expression. I think it's probably been around since humans have been around. I got to believe that cavemen were making bargains back in the caves. Maybe they were grunting them out. I don't know how they were communicating, but I think that people, humans, if you didn't keep your end of the bargain, you were probably thrown out of the cave. So do what you say you're going to do, commit to something, and then stick to it, or don't commit to it at all. It's better to not say you're going to do something and say no to something up front than to say maybe. My kids used to hate it. When they just assumed if I said maybe or let me think about it, that the answer was no. So over time, I just started automatically saying no. And then that bought me like 5 minutes or so to think about it and think about the reasons to let them do something. And then I would go back and say, okay, I've thought about it, now you can do it. But instead of giving them a maybe and frustrating them, I would just say yes or no. If it was immediate yes, yes. If it was I needed to think about it, I said no to buy myself some time to think about it, because I would hate to have given them hope when it was going to be an absolute no. Because a lot of things that kids ask for, it's absolute no, you're not going to do that. Or it's a no, I'm not going to do that. It's not in alignment with what I'm trying to create or who I want to be in the world, so I'm not going to do it. It doesn't mean what you're doing isn't good or valuable. It just means it's not a priority for me right now. So when I say no to something, I'm not dissing that or disrespecting that or saying that I don't believe in it. I'm just saying, no, I am not going to commit my time and energy, my most valuable resource, to that cause at this time. I say no to things every day, which took a lot of practice, but I used to overextend myself, and then I was exhausted because I wanted to always do what I said I would. So that meant I had to sleep less, right? I had to give up something that was important, very important to me and my health, in order to do the things I'd committed to. And that taught me the lesson over time to say no and think about whether I could really commit to things or not. Now, sometimes when you're in corporate America, for example, your boss will dictate the things that they expect you to say yes or no to. But you have to set those expectations of what you will and will not do, what you are and are not capable of, and not buy into their blackmailing you into thinking that, and sometimes that happens. You say no and you lose your job. Been there, done that. No, not going to do that. No, I don't believe in that. It's not the right thing to do from a human being perspective. Not going to go out and promote that. So no, I'm not going to participate in your business anymore. And they say, bye, sayonara, go find another job. And so then you do that, or go get another business, or go find a different partner, or go find a different person to be in business with because they're not right for you. So keep your end of the bargain. Our Get Up and Go challenge today was day 28 of our 10th free 30-plus day Get Up and Go challenge since the COVID pandemic started. I'd say that's a good thing that came out of the pandemic, was doing this free 30-day challenge pretty much every other month. I think we skipped a month here or there, but this is our 10th one since April of 2020. And one of those was a 45-plus day challenge. So we've done those challenges, plus we've also done other just information sharing, wisdom sharing, personal development things. And those are all available still for free just by coming and joining the free private group Get Up and Go challenge on Facebook. It's on Facebook. The Get Up and Go Challenge is on Facebook as well, on the Facebook page of the same name, Get Up and Go Challenge. And I don't believe in disappearing content, so all 10 challenges are there, plus the other guides on the group page in order for the different things that we've done. I did a couple no-nonsense Novembers, and then I can't remember, I think I did a tools and a lessons learned thing in there, because there's 14 units. This is unit 14, I believe, is the 10th challenge. So there's at least 4 other units in there of things that I should go back and look at and remember, but I don't right now. So today we talked about communication SOAP. We're applying the SOAP framework, and we're installing this framework into our subconscious to make dealing with changes and challenges, which are inevitably going to come our way, automatically, as easy as breathing on autopilot. We have a framework that we're installing in our subconscious. And so we've gone through, this is the last area and aspect that I divide my life into. Everybody can divide their life up into categories how they want, or not divide their life up into any categories at all. You can just apply this SOAP framework to your life in general. That's pretty broad and all-encompassing, and so it's a little complicated, but you can still do that. Hey, what is my story or situation, my current story I'm telling myself about my life? What do I want it to be? That creates a gap. How am I going to fill that gap? With the rest of the framework. Oh, what are my options to go from where I am to where I want to be? What are the different possibilities and options? Then I'm going to analyze and take action on one of those options or possibilities. And then I'm going to look at my progress, the P. And so am I making progress? Am I moving from where I am to where I want to be? Or am I not? If I'm not, I'm going to try something else. And I'm going to loop that around and use that framework over and over and over again to create what I want. Because guess what? The SOAP framework is also the process for creating whatever you want in your life, right? It's a simple 4-step process. That's what everything in life is. We can complicate it. We can make it a 30 or 101-step process, or whatever we want, depending on what guru we are and how we want to complicate things. But really, it can all be boiled down to a 4 or 5-step process, right? And it doesn't have to be that hard or complicated. So we talked about communication today. We talked about gratitude was our tool for communication. So it could have been NLP or words and meanings or any other thing. I ran through mine with respect to listening. I didn't think ahead of what I should do. So as I was going through the SOAP framework, I used listening as my area to work on, because I always want to become a better and better and better listener. So that's it. Those are the few things I'm working on. I'm tying up the things from 2021 and rolling into my goals for 2022 and starting to implement and break that down and schedule that out, how it needs to work for me, because that's the most important thing, right? We schedule and plan our life out in a way that works for us. Some people don't want to schedule or plan anything, and they don't. And so they get what they get based on what happens outside of them. Me, I am in between. I am a broad stroke planner, but then I break the things that are really important to me, my big annual goals, which are based on my 5 and 10 and 20-year legacy goals. I break them down to an annual goal, and I break that annual goal down in smaller and smaller and smaller pieces, to the point where a lot of things are, what do I do every day? And then how do I build those daily things into my life through routines and processes and practices and habits and rituals that I just will do automatically, so I know I'm always making progress toward my annual goals every single day through the things I do. And I check in with weekly, monthly, quarterly goals, etc. And I'm flexible in my structure and my openness to the world and possibilities that can make those things happen faster, if that makes sense. So working on that. If you have any questions, if I can help you in any way, offline or online businesses especially, hit me up. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Have an amazing day.